Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. If others may join in a few minutes, and we'll just keep moving. So my name is Jennifer Bruin, and I'm the project manager of the REI University Center, which is a economic development administrative funded program. University centers are found all over the United States. There's about 60 of them, and it's a program that has been in existence for decades. If you're not familiar with the Economic Development Administration, it's part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. And the University Center program usually is minimally funded, but it's maximum leveraging. So we have been in operation since 2011, and we join with our other university centers once a year, and we share the work that we do here in Michigan. So we're always connecting with the Chicago region EDA office and the other university centers, which are in the surrounding states. And so if you are not familiar with it, I can send you information about how the university centers function and how they came to be. But today we're going to talk about one particular activity that we have supported through the past 8-9 years, and that is our student-led faculty-guided projects. And I know that's a long title for what we do, but I think you'll understand why it's titled this way. Often we have faculty members across the state that are teaching field-based, or practicum is what we call it here at the Urban Planning School at MSU. But you may be one of those. I don't think so. When I just took a quick intro from those that are on the Zoom, it sounds like we've got some city representation, not so much faculty members, but we will probably have those joining us maybe on the call today and then in the future. But it doesn't matter, because either way, we have been able to create sort of a matchmaking between communities and faculty members through this program. And so the REI University Center has a little bit of funding, and we have been able to support about 60 student-led faculty-guided projects at 13 to 15 different universities and colleges across Michigan. So I'm going to go right into the presentation. I just wanted to give you that intro. And maybe what we'll do, since it does seem like a smaller group, we could do a quick intro of those folks that are back on the Zoom and those that are in the room right now. And I didn't know if we were going to have hundreds or if we're going to have a small group. And since this is a smaller group, we'll just, so you know who's here.
Rex Lamore with Michigan State University.
Sarah Mooring-Hilt with Michigan State University.
Ahmad Pormavahed from Kettering University in Flint.
Okay, those folks that are on Zoom, could we do an introduction, maybe starting with Dearborn?
Hi, it's City of Dearborn. We have 3 members of the Economic Development Department. We have Hassan Sheikh, Deputy Director, Tom Payson, Assistant Department Head, and Steve Horstman, who's our coordinator for our corridor authorities and various other things.
Okay, Grayling?
It's myself, Eric Bajaski. I'm the Zoning Administrator and Economic Development Director.
And City of Bessemer?
I'm Charlie Loper. I'm the City Manager for Bessemer.
Okay, great. Let me grab my mouse and get going. So, okay, glad you were able to attend. I don't know how you found out about this. Hopefully, you're already talking to somebody at a university or the higher ed institution that's in your region, and maybe they talked to you about it. Maybe you have worked in the past with us. Maybe you've worked with MSU on field-based types of projects, semester-long student team projects. Whatever your reason is for attending today, we're just glad you're here. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what student-led faculty-guided projects really are and the success that we've seen with these projects, and then what you can expect when you're completing your project with your student team. So I actually have a video for you. It gives a nice overview and an introduction. We were asked by MSHDA, this was probably about 3-4 years ago, to put together a video about placemaking and how student-led faculty-guided projects can help communities to achieve their goals in the realm of placemaking. And so I'm gonna have Sarah, who's already queued up this video, play it for you. And if you're having trouble watching the video or the sound, could you put something in the chat box to let me know rather than blurting out what the problem is, and then we'll do our best to fix it. But it should work just fine for everyone.
I've always held the view that when you talk about job creation, part of it is the business climate questions, taxes, budget, all those kind of concerns, but a key part is also quality of place and placemaking.
The main goal of the regional economic innovation ecosystem is to build economically vibrant communities in regions that encourage entrepreneurial development and create well-paid, sustainable, new economy jobs. One way we do this is to employ college and university assets, including practicum courses and other service learning courses. These assist communities and regions in completing local research-based technical assistance and feasibility studies. Each year, the REI University Center commissions 15 to 20 student-led, faculty-guided projects focused on real-world initiatives. This, in turn, provides economic development professionals with access to technical assistance and data analysis that otherwise would not be available due to budgetary or time constraints. These projects provide assistance to Michigan communities in completing local and regional economic development initiatives.
When we worked with Wayne State University and with the students, we met with them multiple times, as well as the students coming out and working in the community. But this was my first take at working with Wayne State University and with the landscape engineering and so forth and these students. I was extremely impressed by the knowledge that they brought to the table, putting in an 84-page document of a study that was extremely well done and well thought out, and what came out of that was fascinating.
We worked with 5 of the greatest students that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. The plan that they helped to develop, and I worked with developers kind of all over in the work that I do, nonprofit development work. The plan that they put together, it is as fine a piece of professional work as I've ever seen. I could not have gone out and spent $50,000 or $100,000 and got the kind of work. What they did was to synthesize all the previous studies. They put together original work and kind of comprised a separate new document that now is going to be our blueprint going forward in terms of hopefully the revitalization of our lives. Certainly, we would love for Michigan State to come back to kind of assist in moving forward, because if not for their initial input into this project, if not for their initial help in moving forward, quite honestly, we'd be at a loss, because we're a small community with little resources. They provided tremendous help, tremendous resources, and without their assistance, I think that we'd be not quite far along as we have been, and certainly not as far along as we're going to be.
And one individual business specifically asked if she could utilize her business as an option in the fall semester for one of our courses to help her to develop her social media marketing plan, because she needs some help with it. And that's the type of stuff I'm like, dude, yes, we can totally do that, right? And so this fall, we've stayed in contact. That's going to be a project for one of our groups. We're going to adopt her baby and help her with her social media plan. And the students that I've taught in the past have done an amazing job. I mean, amazing, professional looking job with that for free. So it allows our students to get the experience that they need to compete in this hyper competitive marketplace. They can actually say that this is something that we did for a company that exists, and this is the feedback that we got. And how cool is that, right? And then the company gets that service for free. And so it's the perfect marriage between academia and the real world.
So instead of sitting in the classroom and listening to a professor, which is great for some things, very little of our time was spent in the classroom. Most of our time was spent outside with the client or in our team meeting rooms, collaborating with one another, creating this report. And that hands-on work, I think, is more valuable per hour of work than is sitting in a lecture hall. When it comes to community planning and community development, I now know that it is a difficult and daunting task at times, but I also know how to communicate with community members who have a stake in the community that I'm not necessarily from.
One of the other aspects of this learning experience is that the field of community and economic development is an extremely complex professional practice. It's not easily learned in the classroom. It's something that you need to complement your classroom learning with field experience, actually doing the work in the field. And these types of student-led, faculty-guided partnerships that we're able to provide support to, not only here at Michigan State, but around the state with our collaborators and other institutions, really provide an excellent learning experience for this profession, so that our students graduating in these programs are getting most capable in applying their skills in the real world to solve some of the challenges we face.
REI, placemaking with the best and brightest students in Michigan. It was very beneficial to work with a real client and to have to work with the dynamics of a group.
I have a whole new understanding of how these types of reports and recommendations come together. They're complex, but I now have confidence that I can do something like this in the future.
I feel that the community really benefited from our work and their understanding of the need for using data.
I am glad I was able to learn about a community of which I previously had little knowledge.
I gained a better understanding of the things that people in my studied community deal with on a daily basis.
Even if we will have made the tiniest contribution towards the revitalization, I will view our efforts as a success.
So maybe you've seen that video, probably not, but we did produce it for the placemaking effort. We had a partnership with MSU for about a year, a little over a year, and it worked very well. And as you noticed in the slide at the end, a couple of slides, it's a project that we're able to support. And also, I noticed that back then we had supported only 11 universities, and I think we're up to 13 or 15 now. And we have done more than 50 projects. We're probably in the high 60s now for numbers of projects across the state. So moving forward, there is another video, and I can send it to you. It's a good description of how every project is supported and how that looks a little more specifically, but we're just going to do that with the PowerPoint today. So the model, I'm going to back up a little bit to explain how the REI University Center model even works. And the student-led is only one aspect of what we do, one part of the larger program. So the University Center offers support to experts or professionals or practitioners or academics that are working in the area of trying to develop a tool, model, policy, program, or practice that is going to support economic development in a stressed community. And that's the key word, is there is some criteria that you have to meet to be able to work with us. And so we've produced co-learning plans, is what we call them, collaborative learning. And maybe you've heard about those. There are a lot of them, and we've done some great work with some partners across the state on that. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the student-leds. If you're interested in innovation fellows, that's another aspect of what we do. And that is supporting on-the-ground action or implementation. So you may have a champion in your community that is either working for an organization or not. They can be somebody that's just a real good leader in your community and that they want to put some action behind a new tool or new practice. And then the technical assistance that you see on this model is the student-led faculty guided project, because we do other types of technical assistance out of our center here. It's not just with student teams. We've tried to support a number of teams across the state throughout the year. So this is a semester by semester basis. So I'll get into more detail of that. We're also encouraging any of our partners to help us with disseminating or transferring the knowledge or the information, and that includes the student-led faculty guided projects. We want to share those across the state. So we would ask you, if you were a partner with us, to really share the work, because it helps to get other communities encouraged, thinking that they can also get something off the ground in one semester with a student team. So we would ask that you would help us to share the work. So I would like to also introduce you to another area that we have taken on, and that is working with the redevelopment ready communities. And these are the certified communities. If you're not familiar with RRC communities and the new program that was introduced a year or two ago, I have a little bit of a description here. But really what it is MEDC, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, decided that helping communities to prepare for development was probably a really good idea. And so they said, let's look at what are the different factors that need to be in place. Do they need to have an updated master plan? Do they need new ordinance language? Do they need to market or promote a site? And so they said, if they can have communities kind of check the boxes on some of these things, then they're going to certify them. And once they're certified, they're sort of designated as being ready for development. And so when we went to MEDC and talked to them, we said, well, you know, maybe we could put some student teams into these projects and helping you to get them going in these different communities. So they could be helping, students could be helping with a variety of things for our RC communities. So we really are just beginning to roll this out. It started in August, the partnership, and we invited RRCs to participate in our Innovate Michigan Summit. And now we're hoping that we're going to be able to move to the next step with them and get them a student team from any one of their local or regional higher ed institutions to help them to be able to start into that certification and using that certification. So the RRC, I don't know if you three are RRCs. Is Dearborn an RRC? I just wanted to ask before we move on. Is Tom there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you an RRC community?
Yeah, Dearborn got certified, I think we finished a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
And that's what I thought. Yeah, so this would be something that you should definitely take a look at, because we are really targeting these RRCs. MEDC wants to see their RRC communities work with the student teams to help them. So if there's anything that you're thinking about moving forward with, thinking it could be done by a student team in a semester, we definitely should continue to talk, because this is a real opportunity for RRCs. And I think that I have a list of about 35 or 36 communities, and you're probably on that list. Well, you are on that.
Yeah, MEDC was the one that pointed us to this.
Okay, good, good. The others, Grayling, are you an RRC community?
Yes, we were certified about a year ago now.
Great, wonderful. Well, then we're going to want to keep the conversation going on this, because if we can help you to find the right match, we will do that. Of course, it's better if you probably figure out which partner you prefer to work with. Many times you'll have a faculty member in mind, somebody that maybe you've worked with in the past. But if you're struggling to make that connection again, we can definitely help you to facilitate that if you're interested.
Great.
Besmer, are you an RRC?
Yeah, we are. We got certified last year.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
This is really good. I'm glad that you guys were able to make it onto the Zoom. Well, Kettering's in the room, just in case any of you are thinking about working with Kettering, and obviously Dr. Moore's here too from MSU or planning. Which, by the way, MSU just released their call for projects. I did send over their practicum project application to MEDC, and so you should receive that, or have you received it yet? Maybe you've received it. Should have come in your email. Maybe with this announcement, I'm not sure how they're handling it, but if you're interested in working with an MSU team, especially Dearborn, since maybe it's a little bit closer for you. Okay, so REI has funded over 60 projects, and the 152,500 is the money that has gone to the student teams. It's typically, it comes into their coffers, and it is used for printing, data purchase, meeting attendance, mileage, whatever the students are incurring as costs associated with your project. So every project is funded up to $2,500, up to. So if they ask for less, then they'll probably get the less. And if they ask for a little bit more, they can't exceed the $2,500. But a budget must be included where they have broken down the scope of work and decided how much they think things are going to cost. And they do this with the guidance of their professor. So
Money actually goes to the university.
Yes, right.
It doesn't go to the students.
No, it's not exactly, it goes to the students in the form of checks or money to them, but it is in the MSUs, or I'm not, sorry, not MSU, in the universities, they're the fiduciaries, so they will serve as the reporter on that. Yeah, it's not given to the actual students. And it's not given to the community either, but it's in a way helping the community, because many times these student teams, when they do a call, and I know with MSU, they require a bit of a match. And so this has been often, the REI support has helped them to make that match. And I know that we've got many examples where it has worked out really well. So this year, we've already done one call, and maybe you noticed, it was October 7th. It was soon after our big event that we hosted in August, late August. And we received a couple of applications, but we really wanted to focus on the RRC communities this time with our call. And so the application is available. It's online right now, and it is due on November 13th. So if there are any questions or concerns or anything, you can contact me, and you'll get my contact information at the end. But the application is due then, and then there will be some decision making, and then you'll receive a notice, just like you would for any sort of mini grant. And your partnering university then would be contracted with us. And that's usually how the process works. It's a little more technical than that by working university to university, but that's to simplify things, that's how it works. So the final product, when we say product, it's usually a report. Sometimes there's a video or there's a webinar in addition to the report. And that's only if the student team and the community have decided they want to put together any kind of video. They can put that into their budget. But the final product is a report. And sometimes they range anywhere from 50 to 150 pages in length. They usually include a lot of community data and an overview of the community, but then it can move into, depending on if it's a business college, student team, or if it's an urban planning, or if it's, we've even had social work from the west side of the state. Western Michigan University has a social work team that worked on a project. And I've heard engineering is actually, we have Kettering in the room, so we've had an engineering project come through. So really it's not limited to just your typical urban planning kinds of projects. It can open up to lots of different schools and colleges. So applications are found on the reicenter.org website. I also want to let you know that there will be, in addition, applications for what I'm about to describe or explain to you with Rex's help, is an EAGLE opportunity, is an EAGLE grant that we received. We have some funding available for student-led faculty-guided projects out of that grant. But we'll explain it a little bit more. But both of these applications will be available to you on the websites. So CCED is Center for Community and Economic Development. It's exactly that, the CCED website, MSU CED. And then REI is reicenter.org. So let's go through a little bit of the expectations that you will have, you and your student team. When you apply, you want to make sure that you are actually working with the distressed component of your community, or your community is maybe outlined as being a more distressed area. Maybe you have low income or some poverty. So that is one major criteria that must be met. You have to be able to engage the community throughout the project. The student teams have to be able to go there at least once. It's not pertinent, but it helps to strengthen the project. And it must have, your application scope of work must it has to be pretty obvious that there's an economic development component to what you're about to do. So it creates jobs, retains jobs, creates businesses, so on and so forth. It has to be able to deliver the ideas of creating a knowledge economy or a high growth entrepreneurship within the scope of work that you're going to be asking your students to do. And it has to provide economic development professionals in your community with the access to this technical assistance or the data within that report. So if your team is going to use that information, then that's great. Or other professionals that are working in economic development in your region or community, they have to be able to use this information that they'll be developing. And then where feasible, we really would like to see projects come in where there's a collaboration with the region's economic development district. That's what the EDD stands for. And these are the regional planning entities. For instance, SEMCOG is what we considered an EDD. They're in the EDA realm. So the Economic Development Administration often works with them. And so they have asked us to keep it sort of in the family and allow those regions to be a part of these projects too, and really to get their input and feedback. So many times when we receive an application, we want to make sure that the region's EDD is aware of the project, they're familiar with what's going to happen, or they understand what's going to happen with the work. And they may even want to be in on the decision making with the students or in the development of that scope of work. So we do ask that you, if it's possible for you to do that. And then the last, and this might seem very obvious, that the students have 1 semester to complete your project, but sometimes we receive applications that scope of work is extremely lengthy and there's a lot, it looks very laborious, and it may not be able to be completed in a semester. And that would possibly cause you a problem to be awarded if we think it's something that would carry on beyond that semester. So it has to be a reasonable scope of work. So we're looking for 10-page summaries max. They don't have to be really lengthy, but they do need to describe the problem and the research that will be undertaken and the results and the findings that you're hoping to get out of the project. We also would like if you could include a couple pages, maybe just 1 page, on how you plan to share the work that's done and where you would like to share it, how you're going to do that. Many communities use social media already, so this makes sense. They could share the work of the students that way. We do ask also that you acknowledge the REI University Center in your final report, and we can help you to do that. And then what the really exciting part of this thing is that you get to present with the student team. If you have a few students that you want to kind of hand select, or if they're the only ones that are available, which sometimes is the case if they graduate, but you get to attend and present. And this is really a very wonderful opportunity for the student, because now they get a second or third chance at really polishing their presentation. Maybe they presented it to your board or your community, and then they get this time again to do it at our Innovate Michigan Summit, which typically happens at the end of August or beginning of September. And this year, actually, we already have a date. It's September 3rd. And we really, really encourage a community partner to be there, or even other representatives from the community to be in the audience to ask good questions and to keep the students, to task on their presentation, and maybe to help them to support them. So those are the deliverables. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Rex Lamore, and he can talk about the new EAGLE grant that we've received and how student-led faculty guided is some part of that grant.
Right. So very similar to the kinds of objectives that we seek with our REI University Center student-led faculty guided projects. We're also interested in supporting partnerships between students and faculty and their students, and businesses involved in the material salvage and reuse sector. So this is a very specific sector targeting. This is part of our work in ending blight and abandonment in communities, and looking at ways that communities might find value and salvage materials from abandoned structures. So we're anxious to support independent studies, student teams, probably from engineering schools or construction management programs or architectural schools, who might work with businesses or development leaders in the community to talk about how might we deconstruct salvage materials, or might even provide technical assistance to very specific businesses on how to do marketing and increase their resale, portfolio for the local community. So we're looking to support 4 to 6 student-led, faculty-guided partnerships within that very specific sector of the business community. So if you or some of your colleagues might be working with those businesses, partnering with land banks or other institutions that are collaborating with this, we'd welcome the opportunity to support student-led, faculty-guided projects there.
Domicology. Do a quick definition of domicology.
Domicology seeks to create a new paradigm on the built environment that recognizes that structures have an end of life, and that we should recognize the end of life and plan, design, construct, use, reuse, and salvage the materials that go into the built environment in such a way that we reduce the amount of material that enters the landfills, and maximize the amount of material that gets reused, and reduce the negative effects of blight and abandonment in our communities that put an incredible financial burden on some of our most vulnerable people and places. That wasn't too short.
That was good.
I encourage you to look at our webpage, Domicology.
Yeah, we do have one more slide, but I think we did a nice job of.
Yeah, there's 2 components to the project. One is the Innovation Hub, which is really about building the capacity of the salvage sector to do a better job and increase their market share. And then the second piece is actually to find some use for what we call the high volume, low value material that comes out of a lot of these structures, which is generally the wood or the shingles. A lot of the other material, like the copper and stuff, already gets recycled. So we're interested in finding ways to reuse that high volume, low value stuff. And we've got a little research project going on here in campus in partnership with our construction management program and our forestry department to find reuses for this wood that comes out of these structures. More on that later.
Okay. So you can see the Domicology website, the bottom, domicology.msu.edu, and then Dr. Lamore's email if you want to contact him about the Eagle report.
In fact, Steve, I know I got you still there, Steve?
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good. Hey, so any of those businesses in your community, send me some contact information if you don't mind. Actually, everyone on the call, if you've got a architectural salvage retail business, or a demolition company, or a deconstruction company in your community, one of the first things we're going to be doing here is surveying them to find out what their training technical assistance needs are. So if you just happen to see a couple, just tell me. We're trying to get good information, so we need good contact with that sector. So if you don't mind, just send me a couple of businesses that are in your town, and I'd be glad to hear from our Upper Peninsula colleagues as well.
We can do that, no problem.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that.
Bet.
Okay, so I hope it's clear that it's actually 2 different applications. There's the REI student-led faculty guided, and then there will be the Eagle faculty student-led faculty guided. But it'll be clear because it'll be on 2 different websites. But we'll do some follow-up with you and send you links to maybe past reports. You can see other projects that are of interest to you. If you could follow up with me at bruinjen@msu.edu, I can get your email addresses and send you more information. And then if you have any questions with the application, it's really quite simple and very easy to fill out. But if you also need help finding a faculty partner somewhere, let me know that too, because we do have a pool of about over 100 that have come forward and have said that they're interested at some point in the last 8 years. I don't know if they're all teaching field-based at the semester that you're interested in doing the work, but if they're teaching a field-based class or a capstone class, when you need the work done and they're interested, then work directly with them and then just do the application together. Do we have any questions right now that we can answer for you?
No, I think we're good. Do you have, I guess one question, the project we're looking at is kind of a like more straight up economic thing. We have a large cash economy in Dearborn. We've had a hard time capturing the shape and scale of, and that's kind of one of the things we're trying to get at, because whenever we do business attraction or try to bring in new developers, they look at the data that they can get from typical commercial and governmental sources, and it doesn't capture a lot of the activity going on here. So I was wondering, do we have any faculty partners that might be appropriate to be in more of the economics end of it?
That is really interesting that you're bringing this up. We've had a lot of discussion over here about the underground economy, sort of, and I think that's kind of what you're referring to. I mean, it doesn't have to be the dark, evil stuff. It can just be the cash economy that folks are participating in, and they've decided that that's the way they want to go to make their income and survive on that. So we have been looking at this, and we do have a partner. She's now at the University of Michigan Flint, but she was an innovation fellow for us last year, and she was very instrumental in working with, I'm not sure if you know about the Build Institute, I think is what it's called. It's a new nonprofit that's helping sort of these lower income entrepreneurials or inventors to scale up. And she felt, Dr. felt as though that was a good organization to work with to learn more about the cash economy. And I'm not sure if she's still, able to work with that particular, with Build Institute, but if there's any way for us to learn maybe what's going on in Dearborn, and a student team might be able to talk to Dr. Fields and with you, and maybe you could figure out how you would do that, how you'd measure it or how you'd examine it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a large immigrant community. There's a lot of entrepreneurs and small businesses, and a lot of things circulate within that. Yeah. And every time we try to bring in any kind of a out of the area developer or a national corporate for anything, the numbers they pull really don't reflect what's going on here at all. Yeah. You kind of got to commit to take a chance, and when they take a chance, they do really well here, like way over their projections. Or the Ford's Garage restaurant that opened. That guy, they expected a payoff time of that restaurant of 3 to 5 years, and it actually paid itself off in 8 months.
Well, Dr. Fields was looking mostly in Detroit, but maybe she has sort of a metric system or some way that you could, I can always reach out to her and see if I can connect you with her. I don't know. Yeah, there's got to be a way to do this. So let's keep talking, and we'll see what we can do.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to working with it.
Yeah, she may have some students there that would take an interest in it. It's a little bit of a distance, though, being at U of M Flint. She used to be at Madonna University, which is much better for you. But she also may have a colleague that's interested in the same topical area.
Yeah, maybe she knows someone else who's working in the same general area. Be either Wayne State or U of M Dearborn or MSU, anybody kind of in our region.
Okay. Yeah. All right, well, we can put some feelers out and look for you. I've got some notes, so I can follow up with you.
Great, appreciate that, because we've been trying to figure out how to crack this nut for at least a decade.
Oh my
we just haven't come up with good. And we're a small, we're a decent sized city, but we have a small department. Our core ECD staff is like 6 people. So.
Yeah,
we've had the pleasure of working with Dearborn on a number of student-led faculty-guided projects over the years, and you guys have always been good partners. From a faculty perspective, that's an important aspect, that your partner is there for you when you need them to review the materials that the students have generated, and they're there for you when the students are asking questions about certain directions they should be going. And Dearborn has always been a good partner for us, so that stands well for possibly finding other faculty that might partner with you.
Yeah, we think it could be a good experience, and we're not the only community with an entrepreneurial immigrant community that probably is experiencing the same issue with their economic development efforts. I would think it'd be, if we could figure out a method to do it, it'd be a replicable model for some of these other communities.
Yeah, right. Agreed. That's for sure. And you're right, and as we become more and more international, we'll have more and more of this discussion, and communities all over Southeast Michigan are going to be trying to get a handle on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Any other questions?
Well, any other project ideas
What
that people have that they're thinking about that they might be willing to supervise a student or a student team on? Give some direction to? Grayling, did you have something, or Bessemer?
Sorry, I can't think of anything right now, Eric from Grayling. We've had a lot of projects in the last 3-4 years, with RRC and Main Street and everything else we've been doing. This last budget year said we kind of need to take a break from projects, kind of get everything closed out and buttoned up. So I haven't really had anything in the pipeline at this moment. But
Eric, we'll be running this solicitation type of thing 2 to 3 times a year. So you could be looking for a summer. I would look for a summer application, and that should be released in the spring. So early spring, we'll be looking for, right. So you may even have an independent study that you might want to get done in the summer. By then you might have something on your mind that you'd like to have a student conduct.
Yeah, yep. Well, probably the best time for me. Yeah.
Yeah, summers are good. It depends. If they're not in class, it's a little harder, but if they have more time to do the work. But they do need a faculty member to guide them. We've had applications where it's an independent study, and as long as they do have some guidance from somebody on campus.
Gotcha.
And this is Charlie from Bessemer. I want to run some ideas past some people here first, because we have a couple of potential projects. Not exactly sure where we're going to go with it, though. So I was just looking for more information. So thank you for providing more information about the program.
If you send me an email, all of you, if you send me an email that says, I'm interested in more, I will send you links to other projects and contact information for maybe some faculty members that I know that are maybe in your area, in case you want to just reach out to them directly and talk to them about a project idea. It could just be an idea, and float it by them, and they may have some good input for it.
The Western Upper Peninsula, that's where she's at, right? Mm-hmm. Really, it's somewhat of a challenge for any students from MSU to get up there to be of any value to you. It's pretty difficult unless they're there for some sort of summer independent study. So one of the things that we encourage communities like Bessemer is to look around at your local community colleges and other universities and build connections and or identify faculty there who might be willing to participate with you in a project. Northern Michigan or Michigan Tech, or even a Wisconsin school. If you've got a relationship with a Wisconsin university and they have some desire, I don't think we wouldn't be limited to just Michigan. That'd be our first time, by the way, that we ever got outside of Michigan. But I don't think that would be a problem for us programmatically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but then the value we see in that is not only do you get a particular project with that local institution, but then you build a relationship with them and they're there for you the next time you need something as well. So it's, we're about trying to strengthen those relationships between higher ed and our community and economic development colleagues around the state as well. So think about that opportunity as well.
Yeah, we have several that are at Michigan Tech and Northern that have worked with us and have done really a great job on the projects. I can send you links.
Superior.
Yeah, Lake Superior State.
Yeah.
I can send you links to any one of those or all of them. You can see what the work was and how they did it. Okay, anything else? Any other? No?
Nope.
Okay, well, I hope to hear from all of you on the Zoom, and if you think of anything, just send an email and ask questions. And please spread the word too to other organizations, if you're at a conference and you hear somebody else kind of talking about a project, they just can't get it off the ground, suggest a student-led faculty-led project to them. A lot of times I attend the MEDA conference, or, I'm out there at the rural conference and up in Crystal Mountain. And I do hear communities talking about things that they just don't have the resources to get going. And I recommend over and over again that the student teams really produce good work. So, and they should work with their local preferred faculty member too. So thank you for participating, and we'll do this again, and this has been recorded. So if you want to revisit it or send it on to your colleague, you'll be able to send a link to it. It'll be on the homepage. Sarah and I were talking about all the locations that we could put it on the website. So it'll be all over the place on the website. Yeah. Available for you. Have a good day. Thank you.